Hi, my name is Roy Canterbury. I'm going to be your host on Arch Talk 101, and we have Roger on the line with us. We're going to talk with him about archery, and just want to let everybody know before you get started, you can listen to the podcast on Spotify and any place else you get your podcast, as well as you can go out to audible.com and you can search for Arch Talk 101 and you can listen to it that way. And you can watch the podcast, which sometimes you get some cool stuff that only goes through on video on my YouTube channel. Learn to fix it yourself, as well as you can go out to my profile and watch them there. But probably the best place to go is to go to the Arch Talk 101 Facebook group, join that group, and you can listen to or watch all the podcasts as well as get all the other information. If you have questions about archery, post it. Somebody most likely has had that problem. Will solve it or give you ideas. If you want to take a video of your shooting form while you're um, struggling, or just to get a review, upload it from your phone to the group, and we'll take a look at it and give you some pointers. Now let's get on with the fun part of the show. Talk with Roger. How about if you introduce yourself and tell us a little something about you, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Roy. I appreciate it. And thank you for inviting me to your podcast. I really appreciate it. I'm Roger Perez. I'm from Texas. I currently live in the DFW area. I'm originally from West Texas in a small town called Ropesville. Um, I was grateful to serve in the U.S. Army for a few years, and then I ended up living out in Utah, in the great state of Utah, out there where my kids are right now, attending the University of Utah. And there's where I found my love for archery, was because of my sons in scouting.
That's always a good program to get your kids in. And the NAS, which is the National Archery in Schools program, that's a lot of good information to the kids. Give them a lot of options, and give them a hobby that anybody can do. You don't have to be
Yes, sir.
athletic to shoot a bow.
No, no. It's a really for me it's a good sport. For me, it's more about uh, peace, giving me freedom, letting my mind relax. If I've had a very stressful day at work or whatever the case may be, getting behind a bow and just relaxing your mind to execute, and put that arrow down range with the best execution possible. It's very calming and relaxing for me, so that's why I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's one thing I found over the years. If you're not relaxed, you're not going to shoot your bow very well, and you just need to either learn how to relax, sometimes taking some deep breaths and you know taking 10, 15, 20 of those to help you relax, and then start shooting your bow. If that don't work, go home, quit shooting, because
Yes,
you're only gonna get bad habits.
correct, correct, and things like that. So I really enjoyed it. I was very lucky to be part of the Datus Archery, um, the Datus, which is a devoted archers, true Utah sportsman uh, archery club there in West Jordan, Utah. Um, Boy, that's probably, in my opinion, I'll say it. It is the best archery club in the state of Utah. Um, Here in Texas, I don't belong to an archery club, but I do. I'm a sharpshooter for Bow Barn Archery out in Greenville, Texas, and they do an amazing job. So, but if you're ever out in Utah, go to Datus. They have a website. It's an indoor archery club. It's amazing. They have a lot of great members there. Mm, I mean, it's just a phenomenal archery club. There's not much I can say about it. I know they work a lot with the Easton Foundation there in Salt Lake City. They have a huge JOAD program there that was established a long time ago. Um, and they have some, I mean, I could probably name you a lot of phenomenal archers that I've met from. We host something called Data Spots and Flakes. I mean, you have people like Tim Gillingham, Real Wild, Kyle Douglas, Jay Bars, um, Joe Acey, all these guys that come there, females that come there that have shot. They're just amazing archers that come there, and they're so friendly and they're so nice and very respectful. They'll shake your hand. I mean, that's why I fell in love with it, was because those archers were so friendly and like a family, right? And if you have a little question, they'd answer for you. I mean, we didn't bother them obviously when they were shooting, but in their free time, warm up, whatever. It was really nice. So it's just a great sport, Roy. I mean, I have nothing to say bad about archery.
Yeah, probably the worst thing to say is you didn't start early enough.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wish I would have, but circumstances for everyone are different. But I'm just very grateful that I was introduced to the sport. I'm grateful for my sons. They were the ones that introduced me to it. And um, I also throw darts now. I throw darts here in the DFW area for the Dallas Darts Association, and it's very similar, right? So it brings me peace and it brings me calm and it relaxes me. So I mean, they both go kind of hand in hand, and it's really phenomenal. But I mean, archery is the thing. I don't have a lot of time right now to shoot archery like I should or like I want to because of the work-life balance that I have right now. And that happens, right? Once
Right.
things get settled down and I can get my work-life balance better, I'll get back at it. But luckily, like I said, I have a Bow Barn Archery shop in Greenville, Texas that does sponsor me, helps me a lot. You have Sean Burke out there, Bill Coles. He's the owner. Sean Burke is their manager. They built an indoor range up to 45 yards. They hold a 3D indoor league starting next weekend, every other Saturday, I think, or once a month for 6 months, and then or something like that. I can't remember. I haven't been out there in a couple of months because I've been busy with work. But they give out belt buckles. I mean, beautiful belt buckles. They hunt archery club out here, uh, Collin County Bow Hunters, Irving Bow Hunters Association. There's a lot of great archery clubs out here in Texas too that I'm still learning about. And we have the ASA. ASA is something new to me, Roy. I am totally new. I was a target guy and not a very good one at that, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. If it's fun, do it and try the different aspects of it. The different disciplines. Whether it be recurve, longbow, Olympic archery, compound archery, crossbows. Uh, the only problem with the crossbows, there's a lot of places you can't go shoot them just because they don't have the targets to stop the bolts.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
Yeah,
Very true.
shoot a little coyote, you might blow right through it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's been great for me. Like I said, I'm no expert in things like that. I have won several tournaments, nothing major, just the local ones. I won the 2023 Outdoor State Championships for the Texas State Archery Association, which was interesting. I didn't think I was going to do anything because I wasn't shooting well that day. And then was it the same year, the following year, I won the Texas Senior Games and qualified for nationals, but I wasn't able to go, which was this month because of work-life balance. Like right now,
Yeah.
actually, I'm on call, so that's why I'm at home because if work calls, I have to be there within 30 minutes. So
Oh,
just to give you a heads up.
yeah. Yeah, one of those. If they call, well, you
Yes,
got to
sir.
go. Work calls. This isn't more important than work or family. This is, just something fun we do when we have some spare time. And uh,
Yes, sir.
I
And
try to
then
make a lot more spare time.
just to share a little bit about me, what I do for work is I'm a I do interventional cardiology, structural heart, cardiac rhythm management, which is part of electrophysiology, and interventional radiology. So we just opened up a new hospital, and we're getting our program going. So that's why we pull a lot of call, get that cardiology services started for a great medical entity here in the DFW area, and I'm proud to be part of that. So that's what I do. So that's why I'm on call 24/7. However long they need me to be on call, that's what I do. But yeah, that's why people are wondering. So that's what I do for work.
Yeah, that's kind of important job. I had to go see one of you guys here last year, end up with a triple bypass. So,
Oh
um,
boy, you're
yeah,
looking good.
yeah. Well, I just about recovered. And April 2nd of this year, had a guy decided he didn't want to even slow down to speed at 65, even though I was turning, had plenty of room to go around. He decided he wanted to hit me anyway and spun me around. So I was doing 29, going just starting my turn, and then I'm going 40 mile an hour backwards. So you can imagine how hard he hit me. Fighter
Yeah.
fighter jets don't go through that much G forces.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, like I said, I've missed competing in archery. But man, I've learned so much from a lot of people. I didn't know the importance of noting an arrow, front of center, all this fancy talk, kinetic energy, your draw length has to be spot on. It has to, all this other stuff, the axle to axle, is that too long for you, too short? I mean, all this stuff that all these archers, all this knowledge that they share is just phenomenal, right? I mean, it's amazing how they're more than willing to give you tips and tricks of this sport in order for you to be better because the competition is fierce. I see it. I like to watch it on YouTube and I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, how in the world did he hit that? So it's just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and then you get some of those that do some of the kind of trick shooting,
Oh my
where
God.
you throw up the aspirin and shoot it. Or I got one lady I watch, uh, Delaney's her name. I think I forget what his first name is. Jennifer Delaney. She has a YouTube channel that she does, and she'll like stick a playing card and shoot the side of it, or she'll shoot through rings. She'll put a pop can up there and pop the tab up and shoot through the tab, and all kinds of stuff like that. And that takes lots and lots of practice because it's
Wow.
a recurve, no sights.
That's I would really want to learn how to do what they call traditional shooting, right? With a recurve. But I mean, how do they do that? I mean, it's just I'm amazed with the amount of skill that a lot of these archers have. This just blows my mind. I'm like, is it some of it natural? Is it some of it a lot of practice? Or is it a combination of everything? Probably a combination of everything. But Roy, those some of these archers are, I don't know, they're just freaks, man. They shoot, tournament after tournament, day in and day out. I mean, the time that they put into their sport, you have to give them props for that, right? I mean, they're the best of the best, and you know, and for them to spend some of their time talking to us, giving us seminars and stuff like that is amazing. So that's what I'm saying. I don't have anything negative to say about archery. It's just always positive.
Well, I found it too. Last things, I learned how to shoot, and then as me helping somebody else shoot, it actually makes me better because as I'm going through telling them what to do, and I see a video of myself shooting, it's like, that's not what I'm teaching. Why are you not doing what you're teaching? And, and
Right?
yeah, and it's like I see that, it's like that's not what I'm teaching, And then I hadn't shot for a while, and I'm going back, and it's like, no, why am I aiming like this? I'm not supposed to be aiming like this. I need to quit watching my pins, you know. And then when you start watching your target, and you know in archery, you look at your target, you focus on your target, you put your pins over your target. You don't look at your pins; they're just
Right.
there. Because as soon as you start looking at your pins, you're not aiming at your target anymore. You're aiming at your pins. So wherever the pins are is where you're aiming at. So you're constantly aiming back and forth as your pins are moving. Your point of aim is changing as well. And what a lot of them will do then is they're doing that, and they're trying to do a flyby shoot. As the pin comes by, they try and time it to pull the trigger. Well, what happens is target panic. As you see the pin cross your target, you say shoot, and then you see the pin move. It says don't shoot, and all of a sudden you jerk back. So that's coming. That's what the jerk is. As soon as you see somebody doing that, they're trying to time the motion of the pin to hit the target.
Yeah. Yep.
So all you do is self-teach yourself target panic. And if you move back, I always like tell, find out somebody's an archer and ask them to use a wrist strap. And they say, yeah. So they're gonna give you first lesson free, quit pulling the trigger. And they look
Right?
at me and it's like, how do you know I'm pulling trigger? I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been teaching archery. And unless you've gotten taught by somebody like me or somebody that teaches the way I teach, there's a lot of us that do that. A lot of your top archers are going to teach basically the same way, a few variations. You're pulling the trigger because, especially if you go from firearms, because there you pull the trigger to tip of your finger, and you just gently squeeze. But you
Mhm.
can't do that with a bow because as you gently squeeze it, you stop thinking about the target, and thinking about your finger because you have to think about the finger to make it move.
Right.
Now,
100%. Yeah, and I
now
learned a lot of that stuff. And it's so true. And Roy, I can't tell you how many releases I bought throughout my time of shooting archery. Probably at least 100. I get hinges or what they call back tensions, thumb buttons, trigger fingers. And like I said, when I was at Dadas, I had a lot of people say, don't do this, don't squeeze the trigger, don't do this, just push and pull gently, focus on the target, and just let it explode, right? And I didn't know what that concept meant. And then I just kept at it. You know how many times I busted my nose with blood literally on my shirt, and I'm there pissed off, and I'm going to say I'm going to make this work, and I finally figure it out. Um, but that's thanks to the whole archery culture. They want you to be better. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, like I used to be like you, what you were talking about. You go up, and I used to use a trigger, and it would just move, and I was like, okay, when it crosses the yellow, pull the trigger. I get lucky out of 1,000 shots and hit the middle. I mean, that's what happened, right?
Well, you get multiple different styles of releases. You've got one like this, and it's an old Scott release that has just a little hook on it right here.
Yeah, that's
Then you
nice.
have then you have the caliper style, which you push the trigger forward and pull it back to make it fire. And both these happen to be Scott releases. And this is my Carter that I use,
Oh,
which
nice.
is a handheld. And it when you push the arming, it closes the jaws so I can hang it off my loop. And then nice thing about these is um, I've got some sample strings I made just playing around. And so when you hook this on here, it'll hang right off your loop. Now don't
Yeah.
walk in or out with it on there because it's really easy to lose it. And then on this one, I like to bury my hand completely in there. Now you notice I don't have that knurled knob on here, which
Hmm.
this one has a knurled knob,
Yeah.
but this isn't near as nice of a release. But when I got this one here, this True Fire, uh, its cost was half as much as the Carter I had at the time.
Yeah.
And in these, I pull it all the way in. I put the trigger back in that seam of my right there at the base of my thumb. I can wrap this around here. I can squeeze as hard as I want on this release and it won't go off. So now as I'm pulling through, as I'm starting to pull and it starts rocking back, it just explodes off. Now,
Nice.
if you probably can't see too well here. It, see how much that trigger moved before that
Yes,
fired?
sir. Hmm.
It didn't
The
move.
travel,
Yeah, there's actually almost
no
there's
travel.
no travel at all in that. And it's a very hard spring. Now, on these, I'm not gonna strap it on, I'll just hold it. You just hook these around here. Nice thing about this is I can find my loop on my bow and just push it in. With the jaws, you have to look at it. And every time I've looked down away from um, the deer is looking at me. Now, I don't know how well I can do this holding on, but a lot of people do the tip of the finger on the trigger. No, you want
Hmm.
to bury it all the way
Yes,
up.
sir.
And now, as I'm pulling, these just open right up. Now, I'm going to see if I can show you how much travel this has. It's very slight travel,
Yes.
but because you're using clearing the buried part of it, you don't feel that travel. You don't feel a lot of traveling. Now, this one, if I can get this around this string, I don't use this one. This is my second backup that I carry with me. And I still do the same thing. I put it in here, but I can't put pressure on here because that knob's in there. I'll probably end up taking that off. But as I pull the jaws, I don't know if you can see the jaws very well, they'll start moving. You can feel it move slightly in it. And I use this one all the time until it gets really cold. Here in um, Nebraska, we have some pretty cold weather.
Oh
And
boy.
then I go to this release because then I can have a glove on my hand. On the other one, I have to have pretty much this part of my hand has to be open. This one, I just need my index finger, so I have glove on the rest of it when it gets cold. And the problems with these kind that are straps is when you put them on and off, and you start pulling, probably can't hear it, but out in the forest, that makes a lot of noise. And putting it on, that's why I don't
Yeah.
like the Velcros.
Yeah.
But you can adjust them pretty good for you. But that's kind of the things. I only use this if I drop my other two releases.
Yeah, I like to use hinge releases and thumbs. That's all I shoot. And I don't put my thumb all the way back. I put it right in the middle consistently. And I have a heavy trigger. It's heavy. And so once I get settled in, I start pushing and pulling right with my rhomboids back there. Where before I would use my posterior delt, right? Because I didn't know any better, right? I had a slight chicken wing
Right.
and I was always tired. I'm like, man, after 30 years, like I'm shaking. And somebody taught me because you're using the wrong muscles. And then once you get used to it, you can actually hold a whole lot steadier and a whole lot longer. And once I figured that out, I got a little bit better and things like that. But I like to have my thumb trigger set heavy so I can put it on there and I just push and pull and it just explodes. I mean, for me, that way it doesn't give me target panic, right? Because I know I have to
Right.
execute in order for my shot to go. And that's how I taught myself and, got some instructions from actually D Wild. I was shooting a tournament at Dallas. First time I ever shot a 300 in a Vegas face. I was shooting on the same bell as him. He was shooting AB, so he was shooting the top, and I was shooting D. And I was on my last arrow. He just looks at me and he goes, "Just execute, young man." And I said, "Yes, sir." I got up there and I was nervous. I was literally shaking. But then I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and then opened again. And I just executed my shot and I hit it. I hit an X. First ever 300 I ever shot. I was just so excited. He was so nice. He came and shook my hand. But he's the one that told me, set your thumb trigger heavy if you want to push and pull to execute. And that's probably some of the best advice I've had for a thumb. And I remember that till this day. It was amazing. I was so happy.
Yeah, I have when Carter gives you multiple different springs for tension, and I put the hardest one in it, and they have. I don't I don't want to go with anything light, because that same reason. I I have my son has a Carter, and he's got a light trigger in it. I come back as soon as I start in it, bam, it goes off. It's like, wait a minute, I haven't even got pressure on it yet. It goes off, and
Yeah,
that
Mr. Carter out of Idaho, right? The Carter releases are out of Idaho.
I
I
don't
think so.
remember right now. Yeah.
He's a nice gentleman. I've met him before. Um, I forget his first name. I just always called him Mr. Carter, but um, I ended up buying one of his releases called Just Because. It's my one of my favorite thumb releases of all time. Just Because just works. I mean, I like you said, you can put the different springs in it, and I have the heavy trigger in there, and it just works. It works great. It's crisp, clean. I love it. I mean, he makes great releases. I shoot Scots as well, and I shoot True Ball. I just have because I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I shoot whatever I
Right.
feel that I want to get. Right, so that makes the beauty of it.
Yeah. Carter Enterprises in St. Anthony, Idaho.
Yeah, that guy's he's a really nice guy, man. I mean, when I met him, he didn't even introduce himself as that he owned Carter or anything. I I, I feel like I'm disrespecting him because I don't remember his first name, but um, he was very nice guy. So I bought several just because it's throughout the years, and I still have some because I just love that release. It's just solid. And then I
Yeah.
found out that Dave Cousins was shooting it and stuff, and Dave Cousins is a phenomenal shooter. How many world titles has he won? I mean, if he's using it, why not, right? That's the whole point, I
Right.
guess. I mean, I don't know, right? Advertising, right?
Yeah. I just looked up the Carter's website, and they still make this chocolate addiction, as well
Yeah,
as
the
a
chocolate.
chocolate light 3FG and a
Yeah.
chocolate light 4FG.
I don't think he's ever going to get rid of those chocolates because people love them. I mean, I believe it or not, I had a three-finger chocolate before as well. Yeah. I mean, like that's where I learned. honestly, Roy, that's where I learned a lot of my archery stuff. I'll say 90% of my archery stuff was at Dadis Archery Club. Those guys are crazy. Mike Gerard, I don't know if you've heard of Mike Gerard. Um, Phenomenal young man. He used to shoot for Team USA back in the day when he was young. This guy's just he's excellent with a recurve, Olympic style recurve, and he's excellent with a compound. I mean, that guy's just a super nice guy, very knowledgeable. He just put a book out actually. Mike Gerard and with one of his other friends, they just put a book out on archery. I wish I could remember. I'm sorry, I'm not very prepared for this, but that's something that I want to mention. Mike Gerard just, he taught me a lot, was a nice guy. Been to his house several times, and he loves archery. I mean, that guy has so much knowledge, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know, maybe some of the people that are watching that know Mike Gerard out of Utah, he's a nice guy. I mean, I miss him, right? I miss a lot of those guys out there because they just have so much knowledge and they have so many tournaments out there. It's so crazy. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it's you meet a lot of nice people when you're out there with the bow, and we're all there to help.
Yeah,
Um,
I
you
really
know,
like it. I mean, like I remember we used to go to, all up and down Utah, down to Cedar City, down in southern Utah. Um, I remember Kyle Douglas shooting in that tournament. He was smaller, shorter, younger guy, and he shot in our group a couple of times, and I was just amazed how good he was then as a young kid. And he's kicking butt and taking names now,
yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah,
holy crap. That kid just he came out of he didn't really come out of nowhere. I mean, you knew he was good when he was younger, but you didn't know he was gonna be that good. So I mean, I'm just happy to say that I've shot with him, I knew him. Um, I mean, a lot of these guys are just, I don't know, I sound like a broken record, right? But they're just, I mean, I see why they're successful, right? Because they're good at what they do. They're very personable. They're very professional. They're very knowledgeable, and they love the sport. I mean, what else can you do, right? We're supposed to be good stewards of the sport, and that's exactly what they are.
yeah, yeah. It's so nice when you can get into a club or a group that has the same ideas that you do, and it just makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, Roy, you've been doing this longer than me, and I'm sure you've been to a lot more places, but um, I'm just hoping that my work-life balance gets better because I want to get back to competing just locally, right? Not nationally. I want to go back to Vegas eventually and start shooting that again. Because that's just a great tournament. I want to end up shooting nationals. I was going to try to shoot nationals here in Lubbock, Texas, because that's where I'm from. They had the outdoor nationals last year. Um, uh, and I, again, work. I had to work. I couldn't get the time off. And nationals right there in the backyard. And I didn't even get to see, because it was happening during while I was at work. And so when we're very busy, so it was kind of disappointing, but uh, I would like to get to that point, at least compete in nationals or something like that every once in a while. Just to see where I'm at, just, to see all these phenomenal shooters because you don't always get to see them, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to get to some of those and see some of those, shooters that are inspirational, or just, you go talk to them and they talk to you and don't have a problem, chatting
Mm,
with somebody that's not, high ranked, beginners, new
yeah,
archers that are just starting out. We all like helping them out. And, that's why one of the things I offer in the Arch Talk 101 Facebook group is, hey, if you're having trouble with your shooting, take a video on your phone and then get on the group and just upload it from your phone, and then
yeah,
take a look at it, and do it from your phone because it makes it a little easier. If I'm going to pull it down and look at it, copy it down, I have a video editor. I can go frame in advance and see what's going on. It's not like when I first started when you, you were going to either watch it live and critique it live, or you're going to do a VCR tape.
right. The good old VCR, huh?
In fact, when I went and going through the learning how to do back tension release, this is one of the six volume set on on shooting,
Whoa.
and
That's
they're on VCR tapes.
wow. I didn't even know that existed. Like that tells you, I'm like, there's a lot of people that have a lot more knowledge than I do. And I'm humble enough to listen to them, right? Because you want to get better. At least you want to be competitive, right? You don't want to go in there and
Right.
get smoked or whatever, but be competitive, right? I mean, the thing that I mean, I don't know. I listen to a lot of stuff still. And they said it's 90% mental, 10% skill. You know, if you don't have a good mental game, you know, it's not always going to work out best for you if you can't control the mind, right?
Right. And those tapes are 30 years old.
Man, they still look good. The covers do at least.
Yeah. Well, we actually still have a player I can play them, but one of these days I might have to have it transferred to um, a CD or something, and
That would be awesome.
or
So you
on
could
a
keep that.
USB drive, so I can look at them. And there's all kinds of different ones. There's six different volumes, and that just happened to be number six. It was on top because I got them stacked from one to six, and I got my set. And then when I bought my store, they had a set, but it was missing volume one, so I got two of each of them except volume one.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But um, I I mean, so because I don't have a lot of time to drive to archery range and things like that, and I still miss the competitive nature of it, I decided to get into darts, right? So, you know, I bought me a dartboard because I played it when I was a young soldier in Europe, right? And in the pubs in Europe, they're all, you know, that's their game, right? Is billiards and darts. So that's how I got into it. Then I moved back home to America and then didn't play for years. And so it's been about a year since I've been throwing darts now. And I really love it. I've been doing really good and things like that. I'm an ambassador for Shot Darts out of New Zealand. So I'm happy to be doing that. I compete a lot. I practice every day because it's right here at home, right? I have my setup, my hockey, and I have my dart set up. You know, I throw a game of 501 cricket or 301, you know, and then rest and then practice more. And it's just like a dart's like an arrow, right? You got to put different stems, different flights to get the best flying dart and stuff like that that's more accurate and things like that. And so, I mean, just it's crazy how many stems and flights I have and stuff like that to try to make my darts like better depending on the day, right? I may have to change my stem and my flight so it'll fly straight for whatever reason because I'm not gripping the dart correctly. I'm not keeping my arm like a pendulum when I'm throwing. Anyway, it's just basically the whole concept. The mind has to be there, right? It's 90% mental as well and stuff. So I'm hoping that'll keep me sharp and ready to go when I do have more work-life balance to get back to archery so I can still have that mental game there.
Well, and that's real close to what you're going to do with a recurve, traditional archery,
Really.
because you're looking at your target, and the only difference is you're looking at your target, and then you're releasing out your fingers, this way. The
Mhm.
difference with the darts is you're still looking at target, you're turning the opposite direction, and then you're throwing to your target.
Yes,
You
sir.
still want to have that hand as you go to your target point to where
Yeah.
you want it to go. Because if you're pointing off to the side, how can you go to if you're trying to shoot the center bowl? How can you do that when your hand extends? It's pointing off to the side. You're going to throw off to the side. The same thing with shooting traditional or compounds or anything. If that hand doesn't go straight to your target, you're not going to be consistent.
No.
Whether you're shooting fingers or anything else. And the way I teach a completely closed stance. So when you shoot, that hand goes straight to your target.
Uh-huh.
Now, one of the things that I used to do is I had a string that wraps around my thumb that's
Hmm.
actually made out of loop material because I had a big roll of it, and draw back as my draw length. So now I could put pressure on that, as much pressure as I wanted, and now I can push forward and shoot, and that string should jump off straight towards the target.
Hmm.
Now you could probably do the same thing for darts on your throwing hand. Um, take Put a little pressure in it, and then as you do the throw, you want that string would have to go straight to your target. So you want to go straight to your target. Now I don't know how you would end up, as you come back and throw, you'd want to have it just loose enough that as your hand goes, it's going to take that string with you or something.
Well,
That's
I
something
think,
we could figure out. I never thought about that on darts, but
but you're right, right? So when you're using a traditional recurve, right? I mean, if I come this short for my first arrow, and then I come back on my second one, and then my third one, I'm going to hit different spots, right? Because I don't have the same anchor point.
right.
And the same process is with darts, right? So if I come here to throw my first dart, right? My second dart, I come here, right? It's the same concept. So
Right.
what I do is I put my flight to the edge of my eyebrow here because I'm using my eye to look at what I'm trying to hit. And then I throw. I put it again, same spot, right? So you have to have the same anchor point. So I got that concept from archery because I was going back, my back was going further and sometimes it was shorter. So I put those concepts from what you said and got an anchor point, and it's always the same. And then I got more accurate quicker,
Right.
right? And then the problem I was having though, Roy, is that my release point was different every time,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So interesting part is that archery and darts are very similar because you can have anywhere from 12-gram darts to 48-gram darts. And according to the PDC, the Professional Darts Corporation, there's really no limit to the weight or the length of the dart, right? Because some guys have them short, some have, intermediate, medium, and some long. Um, but as the concept says, if I'm throwing consistently below the bullseye and I'm shooting 22 grams, let's try to 21 grams. And if you're still consistently low at 21 grams, go to 20 grams until you hit where you want to be. So, I mean, I don't know, so I put a lot of my dart stuff. I use a lot of archery thought. Does that make sense? Because I shot archery for a long time, off and on for about 20 years, that I use the same thought process in archery as I do in art, and I use it in my darts, right? To make sure I get it where I want it to be. So I'm very grateful for archery because it brought a lot to me. It brought a lot of friends, um, and it brought darts into my life. So, I mean, like I said, I mean, meet people like you, meet random people when you go to tournaments, especially in ASA. I shot a couple ASA tournaments, and I'm telling you, for me, ASA is a whole lot tougher than most people think. Right? You say, oh, there's the foam target, 40 yards down, yeah, I can hit it. But can you hit it where you're supposed to, right? And you're
Right.
upper 12, lower 12, right? And then if you make the shoot offs, I mean, can you hit that 14 ring? I'm like, well, hell no, probably not. I mean, like I have bad eyesight anyway that I use contacts. So it's just very challenging. Same thing with um, uh, field, right? Field, you have unknown and then known. I'm not very good at judging distance, Roy. I'll tell you right now. You ask me how far is that? I'll say 20 yards, and you're like, 20 yards? That's like 60 yards. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry about that. I mean, I'm sure I could, like if I had more time, spend a lot of time out there judging distance. Eventually, I could get decent. I probably would never get really good at it, but I mean, it's just a challenge. I mean, everything about archery, depending on the discipline, is very challenging, and that's what I love, right? I don't like to be monotonous and boring. Well, you need to challenge yourself.
Well, and one of the things to do to help on learning yardage is go out, mark out your 20 yards. So you have a starting marker and 20-yard marker. And then stand with both feet together. And
Mhm.
then each
Facing
time,
the target or the
yeah, face
sideways like you're going to shoot.
no, face it. Because what you're going to do is you're going to step off to that target counting your steps.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's going to be because you're going to start walk with your left foot, right?
Yes, sir.
We always do.
Mm-hmm.
Those in the military always start with the left foot. So you're going
Yeah.
to start left foot, right foot, one, left foot, right foot, two, three. Every time the right foot hits the ground, you're going to count one
Okay.
and count how many steps it is. Now, for me, it's 11 and a half steps because, when I get my 11th right foot, the left one is on the 20-yard marker. And
Okay.
then walk it off again, walk it off again, keep walking it until you get a consistent number. Now I know for me, 11 and a half steps is 20 yards. Every time I walk it off, it's 11 and a half steps. So now you can step off and you know what 20 yards is. And now you can learn what that distance is. Now go another 10 yards. In my case, you're going to take half of that. So it's almost 6 more steps. So about 5 3/4 steps. So then you're going to, okay, there's 15 and now you get your 20. So now here's 20, here's 40. And then now you can look at that and say, okay, that's 20 and that's 20. And then look at something else that you haven't seen. Okay, that looks like the same distance as that. Step that off. Well, maybe you're 11. So you're off by, half a step, 2 3 feet.
Hmm.
Depends on how big your stride is. The taller you are, the less strides you're going to have, the shorter your legs, the more steps you're going to have. And I learned that technique in counting distance when I was in um, college, took a backpacking orientation thing, and they said, don't count every step. That's too many numbers. I'm going to count to 23. And you're not going to be, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of being 1, 2, 3. It's much easier to remember where you're at if you're counting every other step, and your numbers don't get so high. So, that's something you can do to try and figure out where that distance is. And then once you get a few little spots in there where go back what you think is 20 yards, shoot at your target, set a target up there, shoot at your target. And if you're not where you want to be, step it off, and it's okay. That I thought that was 20 yards. I walk it up. This is 20 yards. I took the shot, and I was actually 18 yards because I was short. Or it was further. It depends if you're shooting high or low, and then just keep doing that until you know exactly what 20 yards is every time. And then walk around. Where you got, okay, I think now I'm at 40 yards. Then make your shot, and if you're good, don't have to worry about it. If you didn't hit where you wanted to go, okay, was that you or is it the distance? Step off the distance. So now I know I'd be at 23 steps would be 40 yards.
Hmm.
And I use that quite a bit when I was setting something. Okay, I need 40 feet, which is that's like, well, 10 yards plus 3, 13 yards. And I can step that off and I know, okay, this is about the 40 feet. Um, so you can step that off and use that for your measurement. And then if you want, you can always grab one of these things, the rangefinder. And now then what you want to do is to verify what you did is step it off what you think is 20 yards or walk up to the target, which you think is 20 yards, and then make your shot. Then pull up your rangefinder and measure it. I was off. Or if you go to a 3D tournament where they allow you to have rangefinders, most of them don't if you're going to go for score. So if your group isn't going to go for score, they might let you use rangefinders because you're not turning your score in anyway. And then what you want to do with that is judge your yardage to your target, execute your shot. If you missed your shot, pull your rangefinder out and say, oh, okay, I was off by this much distance.
Okay.
And then don't ever use your rangefinder first to tell you what it is because you'll never learn. What you want to, the biggest part of the rangefinder is figuring out what the true distance is on angles, up or downhill, because it might look like it's 50 yards, but it's not. It might be 30 yards.
That would
Yeah.
be me.
Now, the reason I said that is because carpenters all know how to find a right angle. Because if one leg is 3, the other one's 4, the distance got to be 5. So if you measure out like 3 feet and up 4 feet, and then you measure between there 5 feet, you move one end, and now you got your square corner, you got your 9-degree corner. And
Nice.
and that's why when your uh, trail's 20 yards away, you're up side of a hill in a tree stand, so you're probably 40 yards up or better. And then
Hmm.
what is the distance to that target? You can't go by size because that deer looks like he's 60 yards away because it's such a distance, a straight line, but it's only 20 yards. So the way I range it, and I did this on a deer that was, I shot it for 20 yards. It looked like it's probably 40 or 50, and I got it. Because what I did is I looked the trail, found a tree that was parallel to where I'm at. I ranged to the tree, not to where the trail was, because I knew that tree was 20 yards away. Now, if you have a rangefinder, guess it and then range it, okay, that tree is 20 yards. I know that's on that trail, that deer is 20 yards away. And when I looked at it in my pins, it's like I couldn't get more than about one pin on that deer. And I used my 20-yard pin and I got it because I knew that was a 20-yard shot because gravity only works horizontally. It don't care how much vertical it goes.
Okay.
So as you shoot straight, then that's the distance. Actually, Mythbusters did a test one time. If you drop a bullet and shoot a bullet, they'll hit the ground at the same time.
Mm.
And they did an experiment. So they had a great big long hanger where they could shoot, I think it was a 45 or something. And they timed it so when it shot, then they released the bullet and they hit within like a tenth of a second of each other.
That's amazing, huh?
Yeah, because the bolt was dropped and they dropped it where they first had to figure out where the bolt would hit the ground. And then they put paper out and then they dropped it where it was going to hit the ground so they could, and they timed it so that when the gun fired, the bullet was dropped at the same time and they hit on the paper at this roughly virtually the same time
That's crazy.
because gravity only works horizontally, not how far it traveled or how high up it was because it was shot from 3 or 4 feet up.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know anything about that stuff. That's why I'm not a scientist.
No,
Yeah,
you're a doctor instead.
no physicist, nothing like that. I'm just like, yeah, I ain't doing that. That's too many numbers for me. I can't figure that out. But it's amazing how they come up with all that stuff. And um, I mean, I don't know what else. What else can we do to promote the sport in a positive way? I mean, it's done pretty much by itself because of the people that's in it. But how do we get schools to do more archery programs? I know the scouts do, but I mean, do you have any ideas?
I'd say just go, get a hold of the school board or the individual schools if they have the ability to do that, and volunteer to go in and run the class.
Yeah.
I'll come in, sign whatever paper we need to do, but I'll come in and you don't have to pay me. We'll just start the program.
Hmm.
And then you get involved in the program at the school. If they don't have one, um, then see if you can get one started. And it don't take much. You can get the ballistics mats that you can hang up behind them, so it
Yes.
won't go like if you're shooting in a gymnasium. You don't want the arrows to be sticking in the walls and stuff like that. That's the easiest way to get your program shut down if you start destroying the school. But you can get them mats that you can hang up then when the arrows hit them, they fall, and then you can get good sized targets, and then they're all going to use the Genesis bow, in the schools and the
Hmm.
NAS program. They only use the Genesis bow. You can't use anything else. You have an option of right-handed or left-handed, and there's a couple different weights. There's a little bit lighter one for the kids that are really young,
Hmm.
and get them started. There's no reason why um, 3-year-olds and 5-year-olds can be. There's no reason why they can't shoot.
Yeah.
My kids
Yeah.
all started when they was about 3.
Yeah. Because I want to. I don't have and I'm thinking just in the future, right? When my work-life balance gets better and I get more free time, I would like to do that, and I would volunteer my time. They wouldn't have to pay me or nothing. I would just come in. Um, you know, uh, Before I did all that, I would probably try to get a hold of the Easton Foundation, see what they could do to help, what kind of resources they could help us with, and just other people in general, right? To try to get this program going so we could, you know, get the sport out there more, right? I mean, those movies, what do you call it? Those movies with that girl in them, um, increased the sport, brought the sport to light. Uh, Shoot, I forget. Um,
Hunger Games.
yes, the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
That brought up, that brought the sport up to light a little bit,
Well,
which
and
was very helpful.
I'm drawing a blank what her name is that played Katniss, but she was actually taught by an Olympic archer.
Yeah, wasn't it? What's her name?
I don't remember what her name was, but she you could tell in the way she was shooting her shooting form, she was taught by an archer that knew what they was doing,
Yeah, that's for
because
sure.
that you could see the technique was in there. It was all in there, so that I don't know if she actually made all the shots she did, but she had the skill to do it. You may
Yeah,
not have enough time in arrows to actually execute all those shots, but I have no problem believing that all those shots that she supposedly made that she actually made,
yeah. I
because you
think her
could see
name
it in
was
her form.
the archer was Katuna Lorig. I think she's been in like a 4 or 5 time Olympian archer or something. I think her name was Katuna Lorig or something like that. But it was amazing. I mean, that brought archery back to light, especially for young girls, um, which I really liked. I thought it was good because I had some friends that owned an archery shop in Salt Lake City called Full Draw, and they saw a huge uptake of
Right,
people coming into the archery shop right after the initial Hunger Games, and I would coach a little bit there, just the basic stuff, making sure they drew. What I taught most was safety because we have to be safe, right, in our archery range.
right.
And that was one of my biggest things. And I just said, have fun, have fun. They were hit the targets, they get all excited or whatever. But yeah, when that movie came out, there was a huge surge of that, and I thought that was pretty cool. And for to see the young girls come in to the archery shop, because we would do there's some kind of coupon you could buy, and we got on there, and they could come in for an hour for like $10 or something like that. It was very cheap, and so that helped as well, right? I mean, anything you can do to promote the sport, right? I mean, for me, like I know a lot of guys too that you'd see young kids come in and shoot and stuff like that. I've given arrows away. I've given releases away. Um, Bow Barn Archery Shop in Greenville, Texas, actually. Uh, if I don't want a bow anymore and I don't want to sell it, I'll donate it to Bow Barn Archery Shop. They'll keep it. They'll put new strings on it sometimes if they need it. Make sure everything's working good. And then a kid comes in there that really wants to shoot the bow. Depending on the situation, either we'll sell it to them super cheap or even give it to them, and coach them a little bit so they can get into the sport. We've done that several. Bill Coles and Sean Burke there are very huge proponents of that, of getting kids into the sport. So we've been blessed, and I'll continue to do that. I mean, I don't need 100 releases. I can only shoot one at a time, right? And I only
Right.
need a backup. So why not? So it's something I think that we need to strive for. And I think, 99% of the people in archery that I know of would be all for that, So, I mean, I don't know. I'm probably not the best ambassador for that. I think people that have more weight behind them could probably do better than I could. But I just think it's something that we need to look at, you know? What do you think?
Yeah, that's anything you can do to get them, help the kids get started. I know one of the things I did when I had my store is I sold an annual range card.
Oh,
You,
yes.
you bought you bought the range card, come in shoot whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
One time fee, and at that time, of course, that was 24 years ago. 100 bucks for a year. 100 bucks a year was your subscription rate,
And
and
how
you'd
did that
buy it.
work?
Pretty good. I had a lot of people using it, and
Nice.
um, those that want to shoot a lot come in, and they could uh, shoot as long as they wanted. I had a traditional club that does the medieval reenacting stuff, and I made them a deal for the group to come in and shoot, once a week or whatever
Awesome.
it was. In the winter time, the summertime, they'd always go outside. So they
Yeah.
just come on in. In the winter time is when they really wanted to come inside because a little bit cold outside, especially here in Nebraska. You know, down there in Texas, not quite so much, but it does get
Yeah.
cold down there.
Yes,
I've been
sir.
down. I was when I was in the Air Force, I was in Abilene, Texas, and it snowed Christmas Eve one year.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yep.
75.
Yeah, go to Amarillo. Yeah, they get snow. They still get snow
Yeah,
to this day. But you're in Nebraska, right? You said, Roy?
Yes.
Didn't you have one of the most decorated compound archers come out of Nebraska?
You know, I'm not sure.
Well, look her up. Her name is Erica Jones, or it was Erica something before that. She married a gentleman out of Lubbock, Texas. I mean, if you have any people watching out there, they may know her original last name, but Erica Jones was like a phenomenal archer for the United States archery team. She's got so many national and world records. And what's her? I forget her original, her maiden name. I don't know if you have anybody out there. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it too.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up and
Yeah, Erica Jones. It
Erica
comes up
Jones.
Erika.
Yeah, I come up with
It's
world's
how about
first
try
female.
yeah, Erica Anschutz. Anschutz was her maiden name. She won her world championship cadet title at age 13. She went to the University of Nebraska. Yeah, she lives in Oklahoma now.
Yeah, it's like I should know that I'm from Nebraska.
Yes, sir. And and the only reason I know her because I used to follow her when she used to shoot archery for Team USA, and she married a young man from where I'm from, Lubbock, Texas, and they had a big news story on her when she was going to go for her world championship, which she won. That she was using a indoor arena so she could stay out of the cold or whatever wind and stuff to practice, and she's won so many. It's just amazing. She was one of the best archers females that I've known besides Paige Pierce. You know, Paige Pierce is a beast.
Oh
Everybody knows
yeah,
her, you
she's
know.
she's all over um, YouTube and was it Reels or Instagram or something. She's
Yeah,
always got something coming up and
he's always doing some great stuff for women's archery and stuff, which is awesome. You know, she kicks butt in all disciplines, you know, whether it's FIDA, you know, World Cup, field, ASA, indoor target, outdoor target. I mean, how does one continue to do that, right? James Lutz is another one. Kyle Douglas. These guys are just amazing. I mean, like they have that stamina on that drive, you know, to be the best. And, you know, you can't do anything but admire that and admire their passion for the sport, right?
right,
And it's just amazing, you know. I'm just like, that's awesome, right? And they're always solid people. To me, they always appear to be very solid, very forthright, very just good human beings. And you know that gives me pride when when they wear that Team USA jersey, right? It's just amazing the things they
right.
do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, you tell
amazing
me
what something to
who
do.
was your favorite archer growing up, Roy? Who was one of your favorite archers growing up?
Um, let's see, probably Ted Nugent.
No way, Ted, oh, good old Teddy, huh?
I've actually
That
met him a
boy
couple
loves
times.
archery, huh? Have you met him
But
before?
yeah, I met him a couple times. Uh,
That dude
it,
loves
it,
archery, man. Holy crap.
oh yeah, he's got a big presence now again on social media,
He loves
especially putting
archery.
down the Michigan idiots that are out there. Yeah,
Yeah. All the PETA people and all that.
yeah. Well, just the politicians on the stupid rules that they're making, and
It's just crazy, man. You know, today with the way society is going, um, I really don't like to talk politics, but I'm glad that the president's where he is today. I don't always agree the way he talks to people and stuff like that, but oftentimes when you have a boss, you know, they hire him to do a job. We elected him to do a job, and I think he's doing a pretty good job. A lot of people won't agree with me, and that's okay, right? That's the beauty of this country. We can have differences of opinion, and just because I have the difference of opinion doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means I just have a
Right.
different opinion. That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
don't take it wrong. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
love this country. It's the greatest country in the world. We're not perfect, but show me a country that is. Show me a
Yeah.
country that's perfect, right? There's not. And I'm grateful for Ted Nugent and all these people that do those things and stand up for what they think is right. And whether you stand alone, who cares? My father always taught me, stand alone, son. If you believe what you're doing is right, it's okay to stand alone. He goes, don't ever beg to go to the table. He goes, when you can build your own damn table. And if when you build it strong. He
Right.
goes, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, so anyway, that's my jab for that. But I appreciate everything that the archery community has given to me um, during my time, and I'm still not as heavily involved as I'd like to be, but I plan to get back to it. Um, I don't know. I don't know of a better group of people that are more American than archers. And that's what I have to say about that. And if I'm wrong, that's okay. It's just my opinion. I'm not pushing on anybody. But archers are truly solid people, solid 100%. They'll support you. I mean, we do tournaments for people that, are sick and need financial help. We'll throw a tournament together. We do a lot of things just to help people in general because that's what we're supposed to do.
Right. Yeah, that is true. There's always help out there if you need help in archery. There's somebody that's willing to help you,
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm going to help you, a little bit here and there. But if you want me to help you every week, yeah, we're going to have to work out some compensation here. If I'm going to
Yes, sir.
spend, every
Exactly.
week critiquing what you're doing, now I'm coaching you instead of being just, you know, give you advice. And that's why, I offer that to anybody in the Arch Talk 101 Facebook group. If you're having problems with your form, upload a video and I'll critique it. Now if you want me to critique it you know 15, 20, 30 times, yeah, we're going to have to work out some other compensation, but
Yes.
uh, I'll be
Yes,
willing to get
100%.
on and help you out and go from there. And I know my first archery student I had was when I was putting together a program to do it and wanted to see how well it would work over the internet. And so the guy had no coach anywhere close to him. So I says, here, let's see. I want to see how it works, and let me coach you. I coach you for free, just to see how it works, because I'd
Yeah.
never done it other than in person, and I
Right.
wanted to see how it would work by doing it, online.
Yeah.
And so he'd take a video, and I look at it, I critique, give him points, and back and forth, and he's getting better, and he lived in Italy,
Wow. Awesome. That's
and
amazing, man.
And this was just passing videos, record a video and send it to me, and I'd look at it and get take. And then the next guy actually did on a Zoom call, and we spent about 45 minutes on the call. And he went from he was grouping probably 6-inch group, and 2 weeks after our one session, he sent me a picture, 3 arrows touching.
Nice. Nice.
So
It's
and that was
amazing
just
how,
one session.
yeah, it's amazing how just even one session can make a difference in a person's life as far as archery, right? And if they're teachable and they're willing to learn and not be hard-headed and
Right.
accept the critique that you're getting and put it to use, it's amazing. It's amazing what it can do for you, right? Like, who's that guy that what's that little kid that's won Vegas as the youngest male? Bodie or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, his father has that shot IQ or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I, I don't know him very well, but I'll watch some of his stuff. Apparently he's pretty good, you know. His is a lot about mental capacity, right? Shot execution,
Right.
thoughts, while you're at full draw. What are you thinking about? Oh, I got, whatever. Um, I think that's pretty good. I mean, like I said, I don't know a lot of these. guys yet because I've kind of been out of it, right, from work-life balance, but I want to get back into it. And hopefully within the next couple of months that will happen. And I'm going to be excited.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I'll
One
reach out to
once,
you again.
yeah,
Then I'll reach out to you. But yeah, I mean, what other things would you like to discuss about archery as far as your podcast? I mean, like I'm rusty, but I still have some memory left in me.
You know what? When I get on, we start talking archery. Where we go from there, it's kind of up to you because everybody has different experiences, and I just think it's fun listening to all the different experiences you have. And
Yeah.
um, do you do any hunting?
I haven't hunted in several years, but I plan to go do some wild boar hunting in West Texas. I have a friend that they own 160 acres, and I hadn't talked to them in forever. And finally, we connected, and then they went crazy, talking on the phone all the time, texting, and they're like, "You need to come out here and get rid of some of my hogs and this and that." And I'm like, "Well, because in Texas you have to have a lease or whatever it's called." I didn't have no idea.
Yeah,
It's called a lease, right?
I don't I
Because in
don't think there's
Utah we
much
have so
public
much.
property.
Right. There's not very, I didn't know that. That's how long I've been away. I left Texas in 1986 and I didn't return to Texas till 2021. That's how long I've been away. Right. So I figured out what a lease was. And so I asked her and her husband, which ended up passing away, unfortunately, but we're still good friends. She goes, "You don't need a damn lease. You're my friend. You can come here and hunt whenever you want." And I'm like, "Well, I just want to make sure, right? Because I haven't seen you in forever. I hear about these leases." So anyway, so me and my girlfriend's son, we're gonna plan to go out there. He got a new night vision scope or whatever it's called.
Right.
Wants to try it on that and do some hog hunting at night. But I said I can't do that at night with my bow because I don't have a rifle, right? I just have a bow. And he goes, "Okay, well we'll go out there in the day and get you some hogs, and then we'll go at night and get me some hogs." I said, "Hey, that's fine." So we're
Yeah.
making plans to do that. So we're really excited about that. And then you have these, you can pay like 2,500 bucks and do the helicopter hog hunting. You can
Oh
go out
yeah.
there. Yeah, yeah. I want to try to do that as well. That looks like a lot of fun. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, I don't fall out.
Well, they probably generally strap you in so you can't fall out, but still.
Yeah, but I think it'll be fun. But yeah, there's so many wild boars here, wild hogs. It's just destroying a lot of the crops, Roy. So from what I hear, most of the big farmers um, will allow you to go in for a day, and you pay a fee. I don't know what the fee is, and harvest as many hogs as you want, or kill them, or whatever. And that's how bad it is out here. So we're trying to get that under control, and it's hard, because they have piglets like whatever twice a year, 3 times a year now. At
Yeah.
12 at a time. So that's a lot, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I know
billions of dollars,
I
billions of
went
dollars per
down,
year.
yeah, I went down to I think it was Catula, Texas, down by the
Mm-hmm.
Mexican border,
Mm-hmm.
and hog hunting with a friend of mine, and he was going rifle and I want to do archery. Well, they didn't set up any archery stands. They were all just the rifle stands. So I'm basically standing in the door with my bow and nothing come by. So then the last day we went out and I took my friend's rifle and here comes he had a hair trigger on it. I didn't realize it had that much of a hair trigger on it. So
Oh
here comes
boy.
this uh hog, or no, that was a javelina that time, I think. I can't remember which one it was now, but so I shot, just touched the trigger. It didn't even really get it aimed. So then I put another shell in, and then I shot, and he was taping on with a VCR. That tells you how long ago it was. It was VCR
Ooh.
tape. And at that time, I actually had a VCR player that you could turn a dial and go frame in advance. And believe it or not, on a VCR tape, I caught the bullet vapor trail on one of the frames.
No way. That must
Yeah,
have been
yeah,
exciting.
yeah. I was like, okay, I wanted to see where it hit because I didn't know where I missed it. It's like, uh, and then in high school I was on a rifle team, so I knew I could shoot. It's just I'm not familiar with his gun, and I really wanted to do it with my bow, and
Hmm.
so that was kind of nice. And I got a couple javelina and I think it was like for my wife and I, it was like $350 for 3 days, two
Wow.
hogs,
Nice.
room and board and food and everything. Of course, that
Wow.
was 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago.
That was like, if they do that today, it would be awesome because that's super cheap, but
Yeah,
it would be fun. I mean, you said something just a minute ago is like, you were on a rifle team in high school.
yeah.
What the hell happened?
Why am I shooting a bow?
No, what the hell happened to that? And why don't the high schools have that anymore?
Because they don't like firearms in schools. It's this big sin nowadays.
That's crazy. It
Eh,
seems like back in the day, um, remember when the ranchers and stuff, farmers had their guns in the back window? They had
didn't
the
have to. I had one in back of my truck. I had a gun rack in the back of my truck. Now
yeah, I mean,
I didn't take it to school because I wasn't going shooting after school. But I know my
yeah,
grandpa said there's a lot of times they'd carry their guns into school. They'd stick them in the back. They had a little gun rack in the back. They'd stick them in the back. They go home to go hunt on the way home. No, nobody cared.
yeah. I
And
mean, like, and so I'm just like, what happened to all that? And I see all these old photos online of kids actually like in middle school. They look like middle school age kids learning how to clean a rifle, how to put it
yeah,
together, how to handle it. What happened to all that? That's what I don't understand.
it, being political Democrats.
Yes, 100%. And that sucks, right? We have to, I mean, it's just frustrating because I grew up around weapons all the time, right? Rifles, machetes, knives, spears. My grandfather one time took me spear hunting hogs. I mean, I was young. I didn't hunt, but I watched and went. And you used to go hunting hogs with spears. I mean, like it's some people still do it today, but that was crazy. I didn't know that. And I remember my grandfather taking me one time and he got two of them. We ate hog that night.
Yeah.
I mean that's what we did, right? Because most of us, like my parents were born in South Texas, right? Their parents came in here, I think illegally, a long time ago. Because my if my dad was alive today, he'd probably be 102, I think. So anyway, um, we grew up poor because we were farm laborers and stuff. So most of our meat that we got was from harvesting them, from killing them, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's rattlesnake, possum, armadillo, venison, that's what we eat. So I mean, that was the life back then, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and so people, my friends, even at work, ask me, "Why do you guys have to hunt all the time? This and that, blah blah blah, and this and like." So I just give them an example. If I put 10 cattle in 10 acres and they breed, and I don't change from those 10 acres, and they're foraging on nature itself, it's not gonna contain them. They're gonna die
Huh.
off anyway. So you have to control the population somehow, right? So I kind of it's just a basic example, and they're like, "Well, I guess that's true." I said, "Well, that's what happens in nature." I said, "If we don't, if just think if we didn't harvest any animals at all whatsoever, how crazy this world would be right now with so many animals." I mean, it's just a fact of life.
Well, when you get those that say, they don't want to kill animals, but they eat vegetables, so that's all they're doing is eating that. Well, you know what? The farmer raising the vegetables is killing a lot of animals
Hmm.
because they don't want all the bugs on them. They're killing all them. They're any of the little animals that's going to eat the vegetables, they're going to kill them off. So they're killing a lot of animals just to supply the veggies that you want to eat because you don't want to eat meat.
Yeah, I mean, it
And
doesn't make sense. I mean, you eat what you want to eat, that's fine, but I don't try to tell anybody else what they want to eat, Roy. Eat what you want, right? I mean, besides human, don't be cannibal, whatever, because obviously that's illegal. But if you want to harvest venison and elk, and your family loves that type of meat, right? By all means, do it.
do
Do
it.
it legally. Do it. Support your family. That's what we were made. That's what we were made to do is to go out there and support our family, right? Feed them, protect them, keep them safe. Um, So, I mean, I don't understand that. I mean, like, they're like, but why do you have to hunt every year? I'm like, because they want to. I
Because
mean,
I
they don't
want to
waste,
eat.
yeah, they don't waste the meat. A lot of it they give to friends, they make it into jerky, they make backstraps, they make whatever with it. I'm like, maybe you should go hang out with them for a little bit and find out how things go, right?
Right. And then have you ever, heard of this meat, like chicken being recalled because of salmonella?
Yeah,
Raise your own chickens. You don't have that problem. Shoot pheasants. You don't have that problem. Go out and
right?
shoot quail. You don't have that problem. Uh,
Duck,
you know,
geese,
yeah,
sand
duck,
crane.
geese,
I mean, like,
your deer.
yeah, because they're all enclosed in these huge buildings, right? It's all these chickens with these huge chicken farms. And then one gets it, then it spreads like that,
Right.
right? Because they're all enclosed. So raise your own chickens, make your own eggs. So
Yeah.
that's all. That's the beauty of it, right?
They're much better.
Yes, exactly,
And get
right? So
duck
yeah,
eggs.
yeah, and so a lot of people that I noticed here in Texas in DFW area, we have a lot of cattle farmers. So they end up having their own meat processing place on the farm. So you can actually buy straight from them instead of having to go to the meat market and stuff like that. And you know it's fresh, right? Because it goes from one place to another place, and you don't know how the temperature control is and all this and that, and you can get sick from it. But a lot of people are starting to do that now here in the DFW area. So it's a big thing for them to do that now. So that's good. I've done it a couple of times, and the meat's really good, fresh,
Right.
you know?
Well, and when you kill your deer, you're going to field dress it. The quicker you do it, the better the meat's going to taste. And process it yourself, because now you know it's your deer. You know how it was treated. You get to cut it up like you want. You can cut off all the fat and all the
Yep,
membrane and stuff that you don't want to eat. Or you can take it to a processing plant and they hang it with all the rest of the meat. And I've been in some and it's like, okay, how long was this deer hanging before they brought it in? Because now it's got green stuff on this deer. It's not my deer, it's somebody else's deer. Especially if you go in at rifle season where they're getting uh, tons and tons of them in. They've been
hmm,
maybe they shot it the first day and it's been hanging in a tree since that whole week.
yeah,
And then when they grind it, they don't make sure all the fat's out of it because deer fat smells bad and tastes bad. And then they got the tendons and stuff. All that gets ground in the ground that you get from the butcher.
yep.
And when I first started, I had just a small grinder and there was 100% meat. There was no tendon, there was no fat, there's
You
none
make
of that
sure,
silver. Well, there's none of that silver because it wouldn't go through the grinder.
huh?
It quit grinding. I had to pull it up, pull that stuff out, stick it back on and grind it. So it's 100% pure meat. So it would not stick together because there's nothing to hold it together. But
Yeah,
that's okay. If you could add in what you want to add in, or add an egg or something or whatever. And then I got a little bit bigger one, and it did a little bit better. And then now well, actually, my son's got my electric grinder that we got to grind it out because he was getting enough meat. It's like, I can't do this grinding anymore. This is taking way too long. And you clean it. So it's the stuff the ground you make yourself smells better, tastes better than what you get from a butcher because they just don't take the time because they've got, they might have 100 of them waiting to get processed. They're not
yep,
going to take that extra time to clean it like we would. And
yep.
then you don't even know if it's your deer you're getting back.
No. And the thing is, right? What's the biggest thing that's been going on for a few years now? Organic. How much more organic can you get meat than
Right.
venison, elk, you know, the speed goats, all that stuff? That's all organic. They're in the wild. I mean,
Yeah.
right? That's what they talk about. There, you want some organic meat? There you go. Here's some venison. You want some?
Yeah.
They're like, "Ugh, whatever. I'm like, okay, well, that's as organic as you can get. I'm sorry, you
Well,
know.
and then um, ask, well, do you like eating bones? Well, no. You ever had Jello? You know what the thickening agent in Jello is? It's made from bones. That's where gelatin comes from. Bone and
And
skins and parts that you would throw away.
then they look at you like you're crazy, huh?
Yeah, look it up.
You gotta look it up, man. But yeah, I mean, like I've been blessed. I'm not gonna lie. Roy, archery's amazing. Archery is amazing. I hope nobody ever loses this sport. After we're gone from this earth, I hope the people that we met throughout our lives, that we left enough impression for them to start the sport and continue the sport, right? Because I've had some of my friends that have never hunted or anything, they've always lived on the concrete jungle. And they're like, "You do archery? Oh, that sounds like it's pretty be fun and easy." And I'm like, "Yeah, come on out. I have extra bows." They can't even pull a 60-pound bow back.
No.
They can't even. I'm like, "Let me show you." And I try to teach them, make sure you use your back muscles, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, okay. And they're like struggling. I'm like, "Watch, look." They're like, "How do you do that?" They think that I have something locked on it or whatever. So I grab that same bow that they're holding and I pull it back. They're like, "What's going on?" And I said, "It's not as easy as it looks." I said, I mean, the guys and the girls that you see pulling a bow back know what they're doing. So show them that
Yeah.
respect, right? I was like,
Yeah.
I can have a 10-year-old short little girl pull back a 40-pound bow like it's nothing because she was taught properly how to pull a bow back without hurting herself, or himself. And they're like, "That's amazing." And then you get them hooked on it, and then they're like texting you every weekend, "Hey, are we going to go shoot this weekend?" Which is beautiful. That's what you want, right?
Right.
Just funny, but I just find it funny. Well, I just don't want to take up more of your time. I think is our time up?
I don't know. I don't have another one after this, so I don't keep
Okay.
track of it. When I have a back to back, then I have to kind of watch it closer.
Okay. I just don't want to take up your time, Roy. It's been fun, man. I really enjoyed your company and chit-chatting about you with archery, but I have to get going as well. But do me a favor, Roy. Just want to give a shout out to Bow Barn Archery Shop in Greenville, Texas. If you ever happen to come to the DFW area, Roy, let me know. I'll take you down there personally if I have time. Introduce you to Bill Cole and Lacey Cole and Sean Burke. And you can get to see their shop. It's huge. They have an indoor archery range. They have an outdoor archery range up to 120 yards, so people can practice for tack. Um, they host the what we call a SIWAT. In the state of Texas, we have something called the SIWAT, which is Shoot Your Way Across Texas. That's what SIWAT stands for. And you different archery clubs and shops that can hold these indoor archery tournaments throughout the year to get ready for this indoor state championship. They host two of them, and I run their Shoot Your Way Across Texas. So if you're from Texas and you're listening up, please come by Greenville, Texas, Bow Barn Archery Shop. We'd love for you to compete there in our SIWAT tournament. It's an amazing venue. Um, it's just a beautiful shop. The owners and the manager there are amazing people. Um, Come out and see us if you're out in our area, even just to stop by and say hello.
Yeah, I'll do that, and I'll put a link to Bow Barn Archery and a couple of places we talked about in the description. That
Yeah,
way,
that would be great, Roy, because I'm not a man of a lot of money and stuff like that, but I like to give props where props are due. Bow Barn Archery Shop, Shot Dart Archery out of New Zealand, people that have helped me throughout my career, even the smallest things that they do for me means a big deal to me. Like you asking me to be on your podcast, I was like, what am I gonna do? I was telling my girlfriend, I don't know what he wants. I was like, I I'm the least person, to talk about archery stuff and things like that. And I mean, I felt honored, and I really appreciate you having me on your show, Roy. That tells me a lot about you and your character, so I really appreciate it. And I want to say, God bless you. Thank you for being a true American and a true patriot and keeping this archery sport alive. And we appreciate you. At least I do. And I continue. I wish you nothing but continued success with your podcast. and I want you to be successful. And thank you so much for promoting the sport.
Yeah, thanks. It's always fun talking to archers. Somebody that's just starting out.
Yeah, that's
y- you know,
pretty much
just starting out. What we can do to help, and that's why I call it Arch Talk 101. Because what's the first class you take, and anything you take
101.
101, right? So that's why I call it that because helping archeries learn, to get better, and
Yes.
sometimes I talk to uh, just hunters.
Oh,
Sometimes we
perfect.
talk to semi-pros, pros, Olympic athletes. We talk to people all over the world, and it's all the same. And I just enjoy talking with archers, and it's just so much fun. And I learned something on each one I'm doing, and I'm hoping the listeners and people watching the podcast get to learn something. Um,
Yeah. Even if it's something minute, right? I mean,
right.
like for me, like I've been blessed. I don't have any complaints, right? I don't. I'm blessed that I get to wake up every day, go to work, you know, text my son, see how they're doing, spend time with the people that I care about and I love, enjoy the work that I do. Um, I don't have time for negativity. I'm one of those personalities that if you start talking negative, I'll just walk away from you because I don't want to argue with you or it's not necessary. I just walk away. Once you're done, then I come back, right? Because there's too much negativity in this world right now. And there
Right.
has been for a long time. And so I'm not one of those people. I like to sit at the table that with people that talk about success. I mean, how can we make archery better? I don't want to sit at the table with people that talk about, yeah, Roy's a jerk and this person's a asshole, this person's this or whatever. I don't like that. I've never been part of that, right? If you start talking bad about the boss, I get up, I push my chair away, get up and walk away because I'm not that type of person. I want nothing but positivity. How can we make archery better? How can we help the youth? How can we help the elderly? How can we do this? And I miss my parents. They've been gone for a long time. They taught me a lot as a young man. Be respectful. They always talk about respect needs to be earned. I don't believe that, Roy. I don't believe in respect has to be earned. I give respect automatically until you show me otherwise. That's what my dad
Right.
taught me, right? I'm going to give you that respect up front until you lose that respect, then you no longer get it, right? I mean, it's the opposite for me. So I've been very blessed um, throughout my life and throughout my career to have met great archers that have taught me a lot, and I follow them. I can't be there. I mean, I wish I could to watch them shoot in person, but like Tim Gillingham, he served in the U.S. Army. I know he's a veteran. Cal Douglas, he's a young man, phenomenal young man. When he was shooting, he was going to Utah State University. D. Wild, indoor outdoor world champion. Who in the hell's going to spend time to me to give me advice? But he did, and I
Yeah.
didn't even have to ask him. That tells you a lot. His son, Real Wild, same thing, and his brother, his other brother now works for USA Archery. Logan Wild, same thing. Jay Bars, believe it or not, I think he was a 1988 Olympic gold medalist. Same thing. He remembered me. Um, Mike Gerard, Joel Moreno. Joel Moreno, a lot of people don't know about him, but he's a good friend of mine. I haven't talked to him in a long time because we kind of fell out because of some other issues, but he's a phenomenal archer. He had never won a world title, a national title and stuff, but he loves archery. He's there day in and day out supporting all archery tournaments. Whether he wins or not, he shows up. Um, what's his name? Joe Acey. Good dude. He was a 1988 Olympic style world champion. Good dude. Um, there's so many people I could name you that I've had the privilege to shoot with, get to know, talk to. Um, Steve Anderson, his wife, Linda Ochoa Anderson, from Team Mexico. Um, they're just great people. I mean, I've been blessed, man. I have no complaints. And I wish all of those people nothing but greater success. And they continue to be successful in the careers that they choose because they were so nice to me from the first time I met them. I mean, I know I'm leaving people out, and if I did, please forgive me. Um, but I mean, I wish I could live the life of archery every day, to be honest with you. But somebody's got to pay the bills and do all that, and I'm not good enough to make a living shooting my bow. But um, uh, I'm blessed that I know a lot of them that do, and I just wish them nothing but great success, man. I mean, you can't be a hater, right? You have
Right.
to wish them nothing but the best. You have to. I hope America goes to they have a World Cup going on this weekend, I think, or next weekend, and I hope USA kicks butt. I mean, nothing against our allies like the UK and all them, but I'm the USA all the way, right? I mean, we got to win,
Right.
do our and support them, right? I mean, I don't know. I could go on and on, man. I'm just so grateful, and I'm grateful now that I'm in the dart family now. It's pretty much the same as archery. I won some tournaments recently here, and I'm going to continue to do that and archery together because I can shoot my tournaments for archery in the morning and do my dart tournaments in the evening because that's when they usually are, early evenings. So hopefully it'll work out if I'm not too exhausted or have heat exhaustion, depending on how hot it gets out here in Texas. you know,
It
um,
gets hot.
yeah, it gets hot, and and I appreciate you, Roy, for out of the blues reaching out to me and welcome me on your podcast. I mean, I don't even know what to say. All I can say is thank you, and I appreciate you very much.
Yeah, it's been great talking with you. Um, there's it's always a pleasure talking with archers. You know, I don't get to move around and talk to everybody like I can here. This gives me a way I can talk to archers, all over the world and have some good conversations. And like if I get down to Dallas and I look you up and we get together and
Yeah, go to dinner, have a few drinks,
yeah.
and chit chat bullshit. Take you over to Bow Barn Archery Shop and have you meet those guys. They'll probably cook something for you because those guys are always cooking. They have a grill out. They have big grills out there. There's times where several times during the spring and summer, you could go there on a Saturday morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, you'll see smoke coming out the building. You think it's on fire, but they're out cooking brisket, ribs, burgers, hot dogs, and they'll give it to you for free. I mean, because they have a lot of support from the community. They'll come in there, they have vending machines. Sometimes they have free waters. They get in there if you're shooting. I mean, they want you to come there, feel welcome, right? You come in there, hey, can you check my bow, whatever. Um, they do everything there, and I mean, they've helped me a lot. When I won my state championship, I was having some issues, and there's this other gentleman called his name is Todd Kinnaman, one hell of a bow hunter. Bill Coles hunts all over the world. He goes to Greenland and Iceland or something like that. He goes to New Mexico, Colorado. He loves hunting, specifically archery hunting. Sean Burke, the same way. That boy, he has cameras set up everywhere. He's at the shop looking at his phone, right? He goes, I gotta go. I gotta go. I've been looking for this drug. And he'll take off. He'll come back. He'll have pictures and he'll have harvested it. He'll go out there and he'll harvest it. And I'm like, dude, you're crazy. He goes, oh, I've been looking for this guy for a long time, Roger. You have no idea. But they're just great people. So, and that's why I'm mentioning them. And I want to say thank you for allowing me to mention Bow Barn Archery Shop out in Greenville because seriously, they've been a lifesaver for me. I was going through some hard times during that time when I went there and met them, and it's a blessing, man, in disguise that I got to meet those people, and I can't tell you how much that Bow Shop means to me. You know, he listened to Sean and I and talking about building an indoor bow shop, and we actually helped him. Bill Coles did a lot of the welding, and me and Sean are here holding up these huge steel beams, like so he could weld them. See, I mean, Bill Coles is an amazing man. His family's amazing. He built the majority of that with Sean Burke and some other guys. A lot of the sharpshooters helped them build that, but the majority was done by Bill Coles. That guy gets a thought in his head. and he'll figure out the numbers or whatever he does. Him and his wife, they're amazing, and they built it. And now it's like people come because it rains all the time, thunderstorms or whatever. They can shoot indoors up to 40 yards, 3D or target. I mean, it's great. I mean, like, I'm so happy he did that. And I know that they do really well because of the people that work there. They do amazing work, man. So seriously, if you're ever here in this area, let me know. Seriously, let me know. I'll get you out there to them and to these guys, and they're just amazing people. So do me a favor, if you're out here, come and see Bow Barn Archery Shop in Greenville, Texas, man. Let them know I sent you. They're just amazing people, Roy. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'll do when I'm down that way when I get a chance to do some more traveling and take my bow along with me, my roller skates.
Oh yes, they'll be more than happy to be out there. Um, there's this one gentleman. He's an older guy, cowboy. Kind of looks like you, mustache like you, wears a cowboy hat. Heck, I forget his name, Roy. He came out there. He had a book. He came out there with his partner, sold some books, autographed books, took pictures, talked about his life and stuff. It was amazing. He's had some people out there, and they go to the ATA trade show every year. You know, because they're always trying to make sure they're up to date with broadheads, arrows,
Right.
bows and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, because they sell Hoyt, Matthews, PSE, Prime. Heck, I know I'm missing some too. And they get the Bear. I mean, he pretty much has everything, everything in almost every color you want. And he'll special order for you and stuff like that. Whatever arrows you want. He's got a gold tip, Easton, Ultra, Victory. He has everything, Roy. So if you happen to come here and you need something, let him know. Um, just good people. The guy has everything. He's just an amazing. He wants to hit the market. He wants to make sure that he's a shop that people come to because he has it, right? We've had some people come from Oklahoma because there were certain bows that they were looking for, and we happened to have them, like left-handed bows,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, they'd pay over the phone. We'd set it aside. They'd come a day or two, pick it up. We'd set it up for them. Say, if you have a rest and all that stuff, bring it with you. We'll set it up for you, tune it before you go back home. And they're like, no way. And they're like, yeah, that's part of buying a bow, all for free.
Well, and the last year I had my shop, 40% of my bows I sold were left-handed.
No way. Are you serious? You
Yes.
had that many left-handers go to your shop?
No, I stocked left-handed bows.
You did.
Yeah, I stocked left-handed bows.
There's
Most
a
other
lot of shops.
shops might have one or two,
Yes.
but normally they didn't stock left-handed bows. And so you had to try shoot a right-handed bow and say, okay, I like this one. No, you can't shoot your left-handed bow because I don't have one.
Right.
And um, back then, the PSE Nova, I was a PSE dealer. The
Hmm.
Nova come in three different sizes, and I'd stock two rights and one left of all three of those.
No
Always.
way.
If I saw a left-handed bow, I'd order another left-handed bow. And I had a couple left-handed bows and the some of the upper ones because
Right.
I sold a lot of the lower end to beginners.
Of course.
Um,
Yeah.
and, and I'd sell them the low end bow as a kit all set up. I also included six arrows with it with points, fletched in whatever
Nice.
colors you want because I had no pre-fletched arrows,
Really
just raw shafts. I'd cut them
nice.
to the length you needed and I'd fletch them in whatever colors you wanted. And
That's
then on the
amazing.
upper ones, one of my store shooters was left-handed, and we just got his bow in for that year. Somebody come in left-handed, looked at bow. He sold him that bow, and then we ordered him a new one. That's what your staff shooters do, you know. Uh,
Yes.
got it in. He didn't get to shoot it. He set up. We sold it, and so then I ordered it in a new one in for him, you know. So, but yeah, it's custom made arrows in
Hmm.
vanes or feathers. Feathers, I charge a bit more for feather arrows because the
Of
feather
course.
stock
Yeah. Yeah.
in the vanes. But you get whatever color you want. There's no
Yeah.
pre-made ones. Same thing. I made strings for the bows too, which is nice because then I didn't have to stock any strings.
Yeah,
In
there's a
fact, all
lot of
this,
bow shops that don't do that anymore. A lot of bow shops that we order ours, right? We use Ghost bowstrings, ABB, and gas bowstrings is I think he orders those. But and he has a
yeah,
few in shop already for the standard. He knows if he's selling a lot of this certain type of bow, he'll order strings for it, right, in
yeah,
different colors just to have, two of this, or whatever. But it's amazing because Mike Gerard, the guy I keep mentioning, he makes bowstrings, and I ended up buying an Olympic style recurve, and he goes, "Don't worry about it, just buy it, I'll make you a string," and he did. And I mean, he was just, it's good to know people like that, right?
right.
So I'm just like, okay.
Well, and in that way, by making strings in the store, I didn't have to stock any. In fact, all the strings I had when I bought the store, I still have. Never used them because they fit nothing.
Right?
they
You're
they
like,
fit
okay.
nothing.
You're like,
And
here they are.
I,
Yeah,
I had one I had one guy come in and call me up just for about half hour before he closes. Do you have a string or can you make me a string from it? Because he knew I made strings. And
mhm.
I says, can you bring it by tomorrow? Because we're just about closes. I got a tournament tomorrow. I was like, okay, come on
Okay.
in. So not only did I make partially make a string, and it was on a Darton, and Darton's track's a little skinnier. So I knew
Mhm.
that. So I made it and I put the serving on it too big. So I threw it away, started another one, made another one, just a couple less wraps on it or other strands. And, because there's always plenty of room to go up or down a couple of strands.
Mhm.
And I made the string. It was about 45 minutes later from the time he walked in the door, he walked out with his new string.
And he was happy, wasn't
Oh yeah, because he had to go to the archery range,
he?
to the club, and shoot to get it all sighted in for the tournament for tomorrow.
hmm hmm Yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, you have so many shops that will do a lot of things for you and stuff like that. And we have to remember to, be gracious and tell them thank you, right? Because you didn't have to do that, but you wanted to do that, right? I mean, there's a
right.
difference. And that's the way I look at it, and so when you find a good archery shop, like I did with Bow Barn, I like to stick with them, because I know their quality, I know they're legit, I know they're great bow technicians, right? There's this one guy that you buy the bow at Shields, right? Like say you buy a Matthews lift at Shields, and then they set it up there and stuff. Nothing against Shields, don't get me wrong, but it's happened a couple times. And then they'll come to Bow Barn Archery Shop and say, I can't figure this bow out, I can't tune it. So they're like, okay, no problem. They shoot it. Yeah, they have a bad tear, whatever. And Sean and them, 15, 20 minutes later, okay, give it a shot. Bullet hole. Go, and then they'll tell them, go back, into our indoor archery range and shoot and see what you think. So they'll go back there and shoot a couple of dozen arrows. And they come back, they're like, hey, thank you so much. What do I owe you? Sometimes $5, sometimes have a nice day, I mean, because they just want to get uh, their loyalty, right? To say, hey, if you have issues,
Right.
you don't care. We don't care if you buy. I mean, we do, but we don't. If you buy your bow somewhere else, but if you're having issues, come to us. We'll help you, right? And then inevitably, they're just like, why am I going to go there? I'll just go to Bow Barn Archery Shop. They'll fix it. They'll do whatever, and
Yeah,
it
just go
works.
there to start with.
Right? I mean, you had a shop, right? So you know what I'm talking about, right? They're like, yeah, come here. We'll see what's going on. And that's what I like about them. They don't judge anybody. They're just like, they don't say anything negative about Shields or anything. They're like, okay, no problem here. We'll fix it. We'll see, whatever. And if they have to, do what they have to do, they'll get it done. I mean, it's just, you know, what a good archery shop does, in my opinion. And you've owned one, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I had one guy one time bought a string, took it out to I don't know, I'm just going to Shields because we mentioned them. I don't remember which. It was not a archery pro shop. It was one of the box stores,
Yeah, Boxer.
and and um, brought it in. Strings mounted wrong. It's not on correct.
Oh
And it's
no.
like it's not right. And because I charge $20 to put a bow in a press. Yeah, unless I put in just to hold it, because the
Mhm.
press time, otherwise you're doing free stuff all day long.
Yes,
Um,
correct.
so he took it back out to him, said it was wrong, brought it back, still wrong. It's like, well, you have two choices. You take it back. Maybe they'll get it this time. Maybe not. Or give me $20 and I'll fix it.
Hmm.
After
Right.
you've been out there twice, they did it wrong both times. And it had to do with the way the the um, the two cam strings crossed.
Hmm.
They crossed so that they was kind of overlapping, pushing it. It should be separation. So they had them
Hmm.
on the wrong side. It
Oh,
was it was an easy fix. But the fact that it's like, okay, you could have just got the string for me and you probably got it just as quick and I've been done on right. It could have been whatever colors you want. Um,
yeah.
because I had I still got string wheel to make strings. I still make strings once in a while, mostly for my stuff. But um, what colors you want? Black. Unless your bow is all black or excessive black, you're not getting a black string. Like, no, pick pick a different color. Two
Yes.
colors. Two
Hmm.
colors, one color, two colors, same price. I didn't because I like the two color strings. And now you'd have to either go three or four color because three is just weird on splitting your peep because now you got to split one of the colors in half. So you can go four color, but so pick whatever colors you want. Doesn't matter. Pick them. So because it's boring making black strings, just all black. It's got to has, black and some other color, or white and black are tough because they have a tendency to bleed sometimes
Right,
on the
right.
strings.
Hmm.
But um, yeah, that's one of the things that I did, and as well as when I sold a bow, I give you shooting instruction with it. So I'm going to teach you how to shoot. Well, you almost have to teach somebody how to shoot correctly in order to set the bow up to fit them correctly. Because if they got a bad form, you can't fit them. You got to have good form in order to fit the bow. So you got to go through all that, teach them the correct way to shoot, and that's just always included with them. My entry level bows, the Nova bows, included a release, one I don't recommend, but it was a release that was with it. If you want to upgrade, you could upgrade, but it was something to start with, and arrows and string silencers and everything you needed except the bow case. I didn't stock the plain old bow cases because I go to Walmart for buy them for $5 more than what I could order them in for.
Yeah.
Wholesale cost was $5 less than what Walmart was selling for. So I never stocked any of those. I did some soft cases as well as if you wanted a better quality one, I'd order one of those in for you. But um, just pick, whatever colors you want. That's the advantage of having
Custom
shop
bowstrings.
that does everything, custom bowstrings, custom arrows,
Hmm.
and everything else. And that was that's the advantage of going to a regular shop is
Yeah.
some of them make their own strings. I've talked to several shop owners on the podcast that actually have somebody there that makes strings. It gives you that extra service that you can do. Um, in an emergency case, you could have an hour, you could have new strings and cables on your bow.
Yeah. That's amazing when you can do that. I mean, because there's not a lot, but the ones that do, it's amazing, right? I mean, if I had the opportunity and the means, I would open up an archery shop, a full archery, a pro archery shop, and a dart store together in the same area, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be fun, in my opinion, but that's just me, my crazy thoughts in my head.
Well, yeah. My archery store was actually a bait and tackle to start with.
No
So
way.
I sold bait and tackle and then archery and then um, I started selling muzzleloader equipment and martial arts uniforms and equipment.
No way. That's
Yeah, I had
cool.
all that in there. Now one
That's nice.
Halloween, this group always gets to go and have a theme for their Halloween costumes, and this one year it was martial arts. So the first one come in, I was asking, where are they studying this? No, it's just for Halloween costume. The group was so then somebody would come in, it's like, oh yeah, good for Halloween costume. It's like, okay. By the time the third or fourth one, it's like, okay, you have somebody hearing this, some of this. So I sell them different stuff so they didn't all have the same stuff.
That was funny. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm hoping really you do. I'm glad you're doing well from your surgery, and hopefully that you'll make a trip down to Texas sometime, and come and see us. It would be fun to have you there and introduce you to Sean Burke and Bill and Lacey Coles and Todd Kinnaman, and all the people that work there at the pro shop and have you shoot a few arrows with us and stuff. That would be fun.
Yeah. Right now, I got to get where I can pull my bow back. I,
Yeah, take your
I,
time. Don't hurt yourself.
I've got a left-handed 25 pound that I got when I had my store. It was supposed to be right-hander, and they sent in a left-handed bow. And I said, "Well, just return it." I just never end up never doing it. So I got
Yeah,
this left-handed 25. I got to make a string for it, and I'll start shooting left-handed to get those muscles, and then I can go to my 40-pound right-hand recurve, and then
right.
I can eventually get to my target bow, which I can crank down to 60. And then once I get where I can do that, then maybe I can get to my hunting bow, which is 70.
Oh boy. It's a lot of work, but you can get there. You know how to do it.
Yeah.
You've been doing it a long time. Just, one step at a time, right?
Well, it took a while. My first bow was set at 52 pounds, and it was, I think it's probably a 32-inch draw length, which is 3 inches longer than I shoot now. Um, and I had I think it was a 2117, 145 grain 4 blade Muzzy on it when I shot my first deer at 52 pounds. And I was
Nice.
20 feet up in the tree, and the deer was 40 yards away, and I just about had a pass through.
Ooh, good job.
And that was my first chance tracking a deer. And guy I was with, he'd found the deer, and I want to try and track it because I wanted to learn how to track. And I'm following him through, and it wasn't too far in where I found my arrows, so it got pulled out. And I've I've switched broadheads. I now shoot a 100 grain 3 blade Muzzy instead of
Hmm.
a 145 4 blade.
Hmm.
That's the only broadhead I've ever shot, and that's been since 70s.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember when the mechanical broadheads started coming in? Because the times that I have hunted, I've always hunted a fixed broadhead, always fixed.
Yeah, I don't remember what year they come in. It's been at least 25 years ago because they had mechanicals I think when I had my shop, and I've never shot one. I've got some because at one time didn't think I was going to have a chance to get my hunting bow set up, so I was going to use the target bow, which meant I needed to shoot mechanicals because the broadheads do not shoot like field tips.
Yeah, they're different. You have to tune them, right?
Yeah. My hunting bow is tuned to shoot broadheads. So if I shoot fixed, regular field tips, they don't
It's not going to
hit
work.
anywhere. They don't hit anywhere near where I'm aiming. But I don't care because I know they're not, you know, the
It's not
broadheads
tuned
are
for
going to
that.
hit there.
Yeah.
The field, as long as I hit in the same spot on each target, that's all I care about. I just going through the motions to, get back into how that bow shoots. Now, if I want to shoot other ones, I'll shoot my other PSE, my newer one.
Hmm.
And I
Are you still a big PSE fan, Roy?
oh yeah, I've got that recurve. The right hand recurve is a PSE. The left hand that I'm going to set up to work up my muscles is a PSE. Um, my hunting bow is a PSE. My target bow is a PSE. I do have a bear that I got when I worked at Cabela's because
Hmm.
we'd get in all anytime you'd return a bow to Cabela's, they would all they'd all go to one central location, get and put in a 4x4 cube box, shipped to our store in La Vista, and we'd go through them all and we'd put the parts, we'd take like, two or three bows, one thing wrong and another wrong, and we'd put them together, make a good bow, put them in our used bow rack and sell them. We wouldn't sell them as new, even though they look new, but they were used because they were returned, so we weren't going to sell them
Right.
as new. So we sold them on a used rack at a discount, and I was able to get a bear. It's in a snow camo. I don't remember what the brand is or the model number is,
Well,
but
that's
at that
beautiful
time
stuff.
that bow was selling for $900. This
Wow.
is 10 years ago. It
Yeah.
was a $900 bow, no sights, no rest, no nothing. I had string needed replaced. The string dampener, one of them was messed up. I had to fix that, and I forget what else I had to fix. I got that fixed. I have this new string on it. I've never even put a rest on it. It sits in my safe.
Nice. Yeah, I bet you that's
So
nice. Snow cam too. That's pretty cool.
yeah, and all my kids shoot PSE as well.
Good. Good. Yeah, I've shot um uh what do you call it? Right now I shoot a Hoyt Invicta. My target bow for 3D is a Hoyt Invicta. Outdoor 3D is a Hoyt Invicta 40 ATA, 55 pounds with 25s, victory arrows. And then my indoor bow is a Matthews 40 ATA with 600 green arrows, Easton aluminums. So those are my that because I shoot that one strictly indoors for target, 5 spot and 3 spot. And then I have my because I'm not sponsored. So those are bows that I have. I use CBE sights, Axel sight on my outdoor, CBE indoor. Um, I like to use Scott Apex thumb release and the Goat release from Tubal. And then I have my two just because is on reserve because I don't want to lose those. I've lost them in the past and I had to replace them, so I don't usually take them with me. I usually keep them
Hmm.
at home. Um, what else? I mean, I use the Kuyu field quiver. I have a custom made leather quiver that I had made some guy out of Washington State. I found him online and I ordered it. Beautiful. And then I have my custom. Oh, I forget where it comes from. Japan. Everybody has them that I got like 20 years ago. Black and yellow. I mean, and that's what I use. And I just go out and shoot when I have time. And sometimes I'll go shoot a damn tournament even though I haven't practiced for a month. And I'll just go shoot anyway. Just to
Why
have
not?
fun.
It's just
Yeah.
like going hunting.
Uh-huh. Yep.
You go to a 3D tournament and they say, you want to practice? No.
Yep.
Why?
Exactly.
I don't get to practice when I go hunt. My
Yep.
first shot counts. So my first shot counts. I would hate to go and practice and nail an X, and then I'm hitting X's, X's, X, X, and then going when it starts, and then I can't hit the X. You know, I shot all my X's out of the beginning.
Yeah. And what's funny, right? I moved back to Texas in June of 2021. I was in Lubbock, Texas, and I got back into archery and started shooting the sidewalks. Well, we had an indoor archery range uh, called Bow Traders for about 6 months. So I would go there when I could. And then he retired and closed, then became a skate rink. And I'm like, well, how am I going to practice? I said, oh, well, I'm just going to go shoot. I'm going to sign up for every sidewalk that I can, and that'll be my practice because that'll prepare me for the indoor state championship. And luckily enough for me, I ended up getting on the podium in third place
Oh,
without having to practice. My practices were the sidewalks, right? And then I went to the indoor state championship in Fort Worth and ended up third. I was totally surprised. I was just shooting my game, having fun. I was up there. Okay, that was good. Hey, I had no clue. I knew that I probably wouldn't podium because on the last day I was like eighth place. But I guess those other guys faltered and I just kept shooting good. I shot a 300 that day, my last day, and ended up getting on third place. So I was like, okay, I'm happy with that. I'll take it.
yeah.
I was surprised, 100% surprised, you
Well,
know?
kind of the advantage of doing that is you're in a tournament, is your practice. Because
Hmm.
just practicing at home, there's really not any real pressure put on you.
Hmm.
Because if you shoot bad, it's like no big deal. But when you're in a tournament, even though you're kind of using it as a practice, you still want to get up there and so that the mental aspect of it, you've been practicing the mental game for all your practice, has
Yeah.
always been under the pressure of a tournament. So now you get to this one, it's like, oh, it's just another practice session.
Yep. And
That's
so,
kind of what you're thinking, all right?
yeah, and it worked out because, you get a belt buckle and then you get a plaque and, because the plaque will tell you how many sidewalk tournaments you went to. I think I went to 12 that year. And those were literally my practices. I would go there because that's, how it ended up working out. And I was grateful for it. I won a lot of first places, second and thirds at the sidewalks leading up to the state championship. So I think you're right. I think that helped me, my mental game, because I want to make sure I shoot good. And it went really well. And I was happy. I had barely got that new Invicta in, um, set it up, had a good time. Um, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But I used to shoot elite. I used to shoot the old elites. I had a blue one and a green one, and then I fell out of archery for a while. And I sold those, or I gave the blue one away and sold the green one or something like that. And I didn't have anything archery. I had to, once I get up back into it, I had to buy all my releases, arrows, bows, my stabilizers, scopes, sights, peeps, everything. And that was fine, just little at a time, and got back to where I'm at. I learned my lesson this time. This time I have them. I have them set up inside my house, not in the garage or anything. So nice and clean, covered, So when I'm ready to get back at it, I'll just get back at it and see what happens, you know. But so far so good. Like I said, right now I'm doing darts. Darts are going really great for me right now. Shooting a lot of tournaments. Um, there's tournaments at the there's this bar called the Billiards Den that I go to that's about 20 minutes from the house. And I belong on a dart league. Our team, we won the city championship this year.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, July 13th, which is a Sunday. The Dallas Darts Association has a meeting to present all the plaques and stuff like that. So we're gonna go there and get those done. And then I got my sponsorship to be an ambassador for Shot Darts, and I'm grateful for that. Honestly, I had a guy that owns a dart shop, Chris Dallows. I go in there to get my flights, and I bought a couple of darts and stuff, and I would practice there with him because he's a veteran like me, and we'd sit there and stuff like that. And he goes, I asked him, I said, "Hey, how does people get in a dart league, or how do they get in a team?" And he goes, "Well, we have our first dart league game tonight at the Billiards Den. Show up and just see if that's what you want to do." So I did, and I watched and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the competition right as they were getting into it. And he goes, "What do you think?" I said, "Man, I'd really love to do this." He goes, "Okay, come next week and I'll let you throw and see what happens." So, and the rest is history, right? So he let me on the team, and things like that. He said that I improved really well because I was in the beginner league. Now I'm going to the advanced league because they have like beginners, intermediate. So I'm going to go, which is A2. I was an A2. Now he wants me on A1. Then you have Premier, and then you have Classic Premier. Classic Premier is where the pros shoot. So um, he says, "I'm going to get you an ambassadorship with Shot Darts, and I'm going to recommend you and see what happens." And I said, "Okay, well that's great." And it ended up working out. I signed a contract with them, um, and moving forward, we have something called Super Darts, where that's where people from all over the state of Texas, even out of state, come. And I ended up in second place with the blind draw. Blind draw means you don't choose your partner. Somebody chooses them for you randomly, right? Like a bingo, you roll the little thing,
Yeah.
you know? And I happened to get a really good player, and we ended up in second place. And he's one of the Premier Classic guys. And he's like, "How long have you been shooting?" I said, "It'll be a year in June of this year." And we were playing the end of May. He's like, "Damn," he goes, "You're pretty good." I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing." I said, "I don't know dart math. I don't know." All I know is I'm supposed to double out. And he started laughing, and we ended up going all the way to the championship game. We ended up winning some pretty good money and a big old plaque. So I was really happy about that and stuff. And that motivated me more to practice more, right? So that's what I've been doing. So I was doing that before um, in the morning I wake up, I'll throw a few darts. Then I went and got my hair cut, came home, did my lawn, and then I'm doing the podcast with you.
A busy day.
Mhm. Yes, sir. So it's been good. I've been trying to keep myself busy. I'm not young anymore. I'm almost 60 years old. So um,
Oh, almost 60, huh?
yes, sir. And I try to go to the gym at least 3 to 4 times a week to keep mobile and try to keep slender, and stay in shape, so I can continue enjoying archery and darts, right? And
Yeah.
other sports, right? Because I like to mountain bike a lot, and I do that as well. So I mountain bike a lot, and go hiking. And so those are things that I really enjoy doing. So I try to keep doing that.
Yeah, I'm 70, so I don't quite do all those things anymore.
Not quite yet, huh? Not anymore. I don't blame you. I bet you it's tough. But I mean, like I said, I've been blessed. I have no complaints. I've had some family members pass away at a very young age in the early 40s from autoimmune disorders. So I got to take care of myself,
Yeah.
and things like that. But no complaints from me, Roy, at all whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, we just got to do what we can do, right?
Yes, sir. Okay, Roy. Well, I'm going to call it quits, Roy. Man, I appreciate your company and you're so much fun to talk to. You have a lot of knowledge and I appreciate you doing this for the archery community. I know a lot of other people do too. But if there's anything I can do to help you out at any time, just reach out to me and I'll see what I can do.
Okay. All right, will do. Thanks for
Okay.
being on the show, and I'll put a links to what we talked about in the description, so make it easier for everybody to find it. And just remember, you can catch the podcast on Spotify as well as Audible.com and wherever else you catch your podcast, as well as you can go out to my YouTube channel, Learn to Fix It Yourself. And probably the best place to go is join the Arch Talk 101 Facebook group because there we have all kinds of people in there with all kinds of experience. Um, I want to challenge everybody that's listening so far to take a video of your shooting and upload it to the group and let's take a look and see maybe we can point out something that you can improve on or point out what you're doing best that we can use an example for everybody else. And it's just been a whole lot of fun. I like talking archery and shooting and looking forward to getting back to be able to shoot my bow. It's going to take a while, but it's getting there. I'm starting to get a little bit stronger now, so it's about time to see if I can start pulling the 25-pound bow back.
All right, Roy, good luck with everything, man. And like I said, if you need anything, reach out to me and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, will do. Thanks
Okay,
for
you
being
have a
on the
great
show,
day.
Roger, and we'll talk to you later. My
All
name
right,
is Roy
yes, sir.
Canterbury. Yeah, my name is Roy Canterbury, and I've been your host here on Arch Talk 101, and we had Roger Perez as our special guest today, and we'll catch you on the next one.